the first time here on YouTube. Hopefully should be working. Um, let's see if we can get this started. Let me make sure everything's working well. Hope everybody's having a good day. Let's see. Yep, I should be live on. All right, so this is my first time on YouTube here, so give me a quick second, guys, to set up. Normally, I've been streaming on Twitch, but I'm deciding to move here into YouTube. And normally what I end up doing is people could just post on the comments, take a look at stocks, and we can do quick fundamentals on them and so forth. So hope everybody's having a good day. Market was pretty good today, I think. Gotta say, I think it was pretty good. What's going on, Sophia? What do I think about NEO? Haven't done too much analysis on it. I mean, the overall EV market has definitely pulled back a nice amount. I mean, something like NEO, if it was to go into my portfolio, it would be a small position right now, just because I don't have too much information. In the EV market right now, one of my favorite plays in China is NIU, ticker NIU, Sophia. But we can take a look at some of the fundamentals in a bit. Just getting set up here. This is my first time on YouTube live stream, so just got to get used to it for a bit. Are you holding NEO right now, Sophia? Yeah, normally we can take a look at what's going on, Shank. What's going on, May? Hi from Singapore, man. What time is it, May, in Singapore? And hi, thanks for the welcome. Feel free, guys, to like post. Normally, like I said, I used to stream on Twitch, but I'm deciding to move here on YouTube. I still have to find like what's the perfect time. I might do some during market hours, and I might do some in the evening time for maybe those that might not be able to catch the market hour videos. And normally what I end up doing is just taking a look at stocks you guys want me to take a look at. Pretty simple. We take a look at news, presentations, fundamentals. But today, what's going on, Joseph? Thank you. Adi, appreciate, man. Thanks for the support. Ben, hola primo, me encantan tus videos. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. I did. I mean, it's been too busy, right, Ben? But I eventually want to reopen up my Spanish channel again. So what's going on, Daniel? Hillian is super oversold. My dad is even here. Hi, bot. Let's get an analysis. Yo, that's pretty cool when my dad even showed up. Thanks, dude. I got shares and called 3740 calls on May 21 expiration. Oh, so you're doing, Sophia, do you normally do option calls? Calls are not, I've learned a lot about them, but I normally don't do them. Especially mainly because of the time, right? So you have May 21 on 37 and 40. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Right now, I just want to see the overall community here. Since this is the first stream, just want to see how things are going. Ben, don't be lazy. I know, Ben. I mean, it's crazy. Full-time job, and then trying to do this. It's then trying to do a Spanish channel. It's too much, but it's definitely on my to-do list. Adi, can you please talk about skills? Sure. Adi, what do you want to know about skills? I mean, it's definitely taking a nice beating. And let me just open up what I normally do. So give me 1 second, guys, and let me just change screens. I think I need this. I don't need this. All right. Simply Wall Street. All right, let me. All right. Yeah, so normally what I end up doing is we look at just Simply Wall Street. We take a look at presentations. Maybe some of my people from Twitch might be here, but we can see things are going So Ben, you ended up entering coin. Coin is one that's going to be super super volatile in my opinion. Right? This one is it's definitely going to take some time. Overall fundamentals didn't look bad, right? For coin. Let me just open up what I normally do. So trading view, I'll open up my trading view account. Let's take a look at charts. Yeah, we'll start off with Neos first. Sophia. Let me just get everything set up. So I do this. I also need my Finviz. Our futures holding up. Futures are pretty flat. Jose, have you Shank? I haven't. I don't know if you've been in. Are you in the Discord channel, Shank? If you are, Q, one of our OG guys in there, he's been talking about Voyager for some time. He keeps telling me to look at it, but I haven't yet. I think we might have done like a brief review of it, but not something I can remember. Are you in it, Shank? So let's see, what else do I need? I need Lazy FA. Ben, that is true, right? I mean, that's one of the main questions, how when other brokers decide to reduce or even eliminate their fees. Um, right, we're seeing a lot of we saw it with regular stocks, right? With the just a few years ago, a lot of these big players were charging $5, and in a matter of like a year, everybody moved out. So that is definitely a risk behind it. But the thing is, right, Ben, it's how do you innovate from there, right? Right now, you make your money from fees, right? Coin makes its money from fees. How can it innovate outside of there, right? You don't want to be in a company that is. Sorry, guys. Let me just sign into this. Maybe later. Log in. Just want to log into all my stuff. Should be it. Adi, I mean, yeah, that's a good price for skills. Average price of your average price is higher than 20s, in the higher 20s. I mean, I think skills with the contract that they got with NFL, it's definitely. I think I've talked about it in my videos. It's like a tier 3 position in my portfolio. There's certain stocks that I limit, right? Tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. Skills would be a tier 3. Doesn't mean I think it's bad. It's just I feel like it'll be super volatile, so I kind of limit my position size. What's going on, Ali? What's going on, James? Legend. Not sure who. Maybe me. Thank you. You know, I was actually shocked. I didn't get in coin, right? I did a video on it though, but I was shocked how much it went up and then pulled down. But I think right now there's just too many stocks out in the market, especially too many growth stocks that investors just don't have their money all in one place. I think eventually we're going to start seeing a lot of acquisitions coming in and start of making this list tighter. James, appreciate it, man. I try to be as informative as I can, right, James? I started investing a nice amount of time, 7, 8 years ago now. And honestly, the videos I try to make are videos I wish I personally would have watched when I started investing. So that's every time I make a video, those are the types. That's my goal. If I was watching this 6, 7 years ago, would I have grabbed something from them? So that's pretty much what's been driving me on making these videos. Palantir, Palantir is one that I keep hearing a lot of people be super bullish on. And I've done a quick research on it, and I definitely want to do more about them. But it's still one I haven't really done my full analysis on, Ben. But it's definitely pulled back a nice amount. I'm happy. I mean, it sucks, right? It sucks to say, but I'm pretty happy to see stocks and kind of pull down valuations. It kind of eliminates the risk for long term. SC is my golden ticket, Ben. Yeah, SC, for me, SC and NVIDIA, I think are going to be my golden tickets to retirement. James, and that's true, right? I think probably not just us retail investors, right? But I think this kind of pullback has shown a little bit, has shown us something. It's like, hey, maybe it might be smart to kind of sell off maybe a small position when things get extended too much. The question is right, when are things too extended? Like, what type of metrics should we look at when things are overextended to maybe not sell a whole position, but maybe trim some to grab some winners just in case of a pullback? So I think that's different for every investor, right? Maybe some investors might want to trim off like 5-10% per position. Other people might trim in a lot more. So I think that's what's something a lot of us have learned throughout this process. I still haven't found like the perfect answer, right? Like, what is it? Should we sell at certain prices? What you're saying? What's my take on Fubo? Fubo is pretty interesting. I mean, um, uh, it's definitely pulled back a lot. I feel like a lot of these stocks have what's going on, Fizz? How's it going? Love? You want to give love? Yeah. Oh, live. Yes. Fizz, I am live. Yo, Fizz, I have a good stock for you. I don't think you've heard of it. It's called Good Food. Maybe you might have heard about it. So Ali James. Wait. Adi, you were asking me about my take on Fubo. Fubo seems interesting, right? I recently did a video. I'm pretty sure it had a strong balance sheet, growth at great levels. I mean, I've talked about it when it was 20, and I think the day after they announced I think old news. But I do think in long term, it's gonna be way higher than 20s, for Fubo, especially the way the whole streaming market is moving. Biz, what did you end up buying? Um, a falling. What knife did you end up buying today? And James, I feel hedge funds are selling these FOMO stocks with strong retails to teach us the lessons. James, I don't know if it's to teach us a lesson. I think most of them are just trying to. I think with all these stocks going up, they everybody was buying a little bit of something, right? Everybody was buying all these different stocks. Even my portfolio, right? My portfolio was the biggest size in form of positions, right? I think I had over 50, 60 positions. Then after the pullback happened, I closed out a nice amount of positions. Now my portfolio is a lot tighter. And I feel like a lot of people have been doing that as well. So now money is pretty much in just certain stocks at the moment. So that's why every time we see a sell-off, it's just like a massive sell-off, mainly on these like SPACs and growth stocks. Ben, I am a humble backholder, not a super high cost basis, but still. So Ben, what do you consider a backholder? Like how long have you been a backholder, for example? I mean, to me, let's say I enter a stock and the stock fundamentally hasn't changed, and I was expecting like a 2-3 year time frame. The volatility, I wouldn't say considers me a backholder, even though I'm not in humble, right? For me, all these investments are pretty much thinking of long term. James, you like AMD? I like AMD too. I like Nvidia a little bit better though. I'm not gonna lie. Nvidia is becoming a monster. I mean, it has always been a monster, but it's just a beast in my opinion. Them coming in for that CPU market, the data center CPU, I think is gonna be really big. Fizz started a small position. Did that go down today, Fizz? I want to take a look at that one real quick. Just the overall stock price. MWK. I know you've been talking about that one lately. So it was a nice down day on this one. Any real news, Fizz, on this? When will the reverse happen? Need to empty some bags. James, that's the question. And unfortunately, right, James, we have to think about that, right? If the reverse happens, like, what are you going to regret more? Let's say once growth stocks come back, are you going to regret more selling to break even or and then seeing the stock price continue to go up or continuing to hold. Um, so Adi, we got with Curry taking a big beating, is it still a good hold? So for me, Adi, I'm still holding Curry. I'm still liking it. To me, I try to always mention what kind of tiers these companies will be in my portfolio. Like for example, Nvidia is a tier one stock in my portfolio. Tier one, I think Nvidia is probably my biggest size, closer to like 8, 9, 10% of my portfolio on just that one position. Curry is one of those that I would say like a tier three. I believe he'll still beat the overall market in the next few years, especially if things continue to go on. But at the same time, I know it'll be very, very volatile and higher risk. So I have a smaller position. I think it's like 1% of my portfolio. 1% of my portfolio, though, with the market cap of about $600 million, if it goes up, it can really make a big difference in your winnings, right? So that's why I have a tier level. And I don't think everybody should do it, but I think it helps out when opening a position. What do you want to, when you're looking at, do you want it to be a tier one, a company that you want to hold massive amount, tier two or tier three? So Muku, we just have to wait till Wall Street starts liking growth stocks again. Rotation will happen, hopefully sooner than later. Agree, Muku, right? I mean, it's definitely going to happen, right? Some of these growth stocks I mean, these stocks are not going to go anywhere. It's just when big money is going to come back into them. At the same time, it's not bad to hold, like, I wouldn't say like hold reopening plays, right? I feel like for me, Nvidia, many people might not like Nvidia because it's too big of a company. It's already too profitable. It's not the type of growth they might expect. I have Disney, for example, as well. So I kind of, like Ben said, don't forget to kind of balance yourself with blue chips. I don't think blue chips in specific, right? Like I don't know if Disney would be considered blue chips or Nvidia, right? Maybe some it might, to some others it might not. But I do enjoy sometimes having these companies that are already profitable, already super positive in cash flow from operations, even though they don't have that super earnings, right? They don't have that super growth rate, right? I have Google, I have some Facebook, I have Microsoft. So some of those big guys are in my portfolio. So they kind of help me out during these downturns. The only real news is refinance debt at like 8% interest. So no good news. That's a really high interest. That's pretty insane. But that's not too bad if that's the only. I'm only into buying fundamentally strong companies, no more hype plays, etc. James, that's a good rate, right? I kind of do enjoy mainly companies that have something to show, right? Some revenue. But at the same time, I don't think, I personally don't mind holding maybe a few speculative plays. Companies that might not have the product right now, but in the future, I can see this product being huge. At the same time, because I consider it a speculative play, it would be a super small position. Mega caps, yeah, Ben. This was for sure a blue chip before they cut the dividend. Ah, that's true. They recently, when they opened up the Disney, what was it? When they were starting to work on Disney Plus, is when they started cutting down the dividend. I believe, right, Fizz? Which I thought was a smart move, right? They needed to move that, or was it during COVID that they canceled their dividend? I forgot. In mode is a beast, Ali James, which is not. I haven't heard of that one, Ali. What's in mode? I want to ask hypothetical questions. What do you buy if you have 10K in one hyper growth stock tomorrow? If you have 10K, just the one hyper growth stock. Ah, man. One hyper growth stock, 10K. I think that's such a crazy question, right? Because to me, I don't think I can personally do that. It depends on how my portfolio would be. To me, it would be any of my tier one stocks. It would have to be Unity. It would have to be either C, Nvidia, or maybe Sorens. Sorens probably not. It would probably have to go between Unity, C, or Nvidia. That would be one of the only few places where I would gladly throw in 10K. But to everybody, 10K is different, right? Maybe to some people, 10K might be chump change. To other people, 10K might be like their full life savings. So it's all understanding on how much that value is to you. Go back in time and buy Amazon, Ben. Yeah. Amazon has Amazon moved? I feel like Amazon has been pretty quiet, or no one has been talking about it. Right, Amazon almost for a year now has pretty much not done anything. I feel not like some of these other big ones, right? Does Microsoft look the same? No, Microsoft like kind of pulled up a nice amount. Wow, Amazon might be ready to rip soon. I think is this one of the only big players that hasn't really ripped lately? How has Apple done? Normally, Apple is not one I have. Pretty similar. Most of these have been Google. I think did rip, right? Yeah, Google ripped. Google's been ripping. So Amazon and Apple haven't really moved too much. That's pretty interesting. Uh, hmm, hmm, Something to think about. Um, Coupon is where I'm. Ali James. I've heard a lot of people look into Coupon. One of my main Twitch guys, Big Buccaneer. He kind of he liked Coupon. Coupon seems interesting. Very interesting for sure. Um, I would like to see more quarters of it though, for sure. Jose, I also have a lot of Unity and love it. A tier one for me, but I wonder if you think the CEO is a risk with his lawsuits. To be honest, Fizz, I haven't seen his lawsuits. I probably should do a big research on it. Um, the company as a whole, I'm still super excited. What is your favorite tier three stock? Man, I would have to look at my portfolio. OSS, that's my favorite tier three stock right now. The OSS for sure. Um, it's a super small position in my portfolio, and it's one I don't mind having. It's a super small market cap. I think I've talked about it here a few times. It's definitely seen a nice pullback. Um, I think from my original purchase is still up, and I found it in the Deloitte growth. Um, Super small market cap, high volatility though, because of that. Ozone, Ozone. I haven't heard of that one, Ben. What does? I feel like I've seen it on Twitter a lot, Ben, but I don't know if I've looked at it. Jumia are on my list. Um, Ben, and you're on your list to add is Ozone not e-commerce? I forget. Another one is Calloy Golf, my tier one stock. Calloy Golf. E-commerce in Russia. Okay. All right. Yeah, I definitely heard about it, Ben, for sure. Um, so what do I think? 3D. All right. Let's actually take a look at stocks now. Uh, let's do what I normally do. So obviously, since this is live stream, I can't do like a full analysis, but we can definitely take a quick look at some stocks. Let's start off with Gerhard A. CLNK. Fizz, take care. Thanks for passing by, man. I appreciate it. All right, so let's take a look at CLNK. Is that the correct 3D printing champion, Gerhard? Is it this one right here? Cell link? Between SE and Square, what do you favorite pick for investments? For me, SE for sure. Just because I do believe the overall SE, I'm more of I like the overall gaming investment of esports and stuff like that. So for me, I prefer SE 100% because it can grow fintech, right? Their fintech server, their fintech market on SE is super small at the moment. It's barely making any revenue. Their gaming market is growing dramatically, and here in the United States, Free Fire seems to be trending from time to time. And here in the United States, people pay a lot of money for in-game items. So I do believe this quarter for C, I don't know if it's been priced in, but C is gonna get I feel it's gonna have a strong amount of money coming in this quarter from games, especially because of the overall expansion here in the United States. I mean, let's see if we can find it before we take a look at a sell link for Gerhard. So here we're taking a look at top apps on iOS. Let me take a look at Google Play instead, and let's take a look at games. So here in games, right, grossing games for Google Play right now for today. Number 4 is Garena, right? So Garena is that's Free Fire, that's C, and grossing means it's money. And we know how here in the United States we like to play, we like to pay on our games. So I do believe it's going to be a great quarter for SE because of this. They're going to have a lot of cash flow coming in their gaming department. Any feelings on Helion? No, Steven, I personally don't have feelings on them. There's not many, I don't know, like renewable energy systems that I really have. Right, I recently opened up a position in Tesla, and I have NEO, but I don't have any other type of like charging of other renewable energy. Not a market I follow too much. And Ben, I do believe SE has so much more growth left, and Square grew quite a bit here and has a nice amount of competition. Shan, good to see you've bookmarked this link. I don't know if I bookmark it. I just already know the website. Shank. Would you buy now at this price? Shanaz, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about C? C stock at 250, it would be, let's say I didn't have a position, I would open up a small opening position and just have some skin in the game. And then if I see a nice pullback, this would be more like a dollar cost average. Right now at 250, I don't know if I would go in with a big position. I actually did buy a nice amount. Recently, I did buy around 200s when we saw this nice pullbacks here in the 200s. So that's not even too far off from where the price is at right now. Right? Let's say it obviously 21% is up. Oh, would you buy now? Let's see, ServiceNow. I don't think I know. We can take a look at that one after, Shanaz. Let me take a look at this one. I forgot who mentioned it, but we can take a look at selling. Ben, true, very true. See, when it sees dips, it definitely sees some nice dips. The only thing, Ben, I've seen with C is once it rallies pretty high, it kind of keeps that level until right, like for example, 200. I think it's possible, but I don't think we'll see below 200. I mean, like I said, it's obviously possible, but like something around 150, I don't think we'll see anytime soon. I think Link has been overlooked by ARK. All right, so Gerhard, let's take a look. Let's see what we can take. So Link is. So you said this is a 3D printing company, but they kind of do bioconvergence company, design and develops bioprinting. Oh, okay. So they do liquid handling, single cell analysis, and live cell imaging technologies in North America. This is kind of interesting. Let's take a look at future growth. The company is expected to grow crazy levels, right, Gerhard? 44.8% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. So this is definitely a hyper growth stock. Unfortunately, right now, two things I'm not liking are the company is not profitable in earnings and it's not positive in cash flow from operations, right? I sometimes could care less if a company is profitable in earnings, but I really like them. I really like to see cash flow from operations positive. That means it's making money from its everyday business. So when I see something like this, Gerhard, I already see, hey, this is a company in early stages. It could be, many might consider a speculative play because it has yet to even produce money from its everyday business. When things like that happen, I also have to make sure that financially they have to be in a great place, right? And I can see already they have high equity compared to debt. They don't have much debt at all. They have a strong position in cash. So fundamentally, it's like, okay, even though you're not making money right now, you have plenty of money in your balance sheet. So Adi, why do you think SPACs are getting hit bad? When do you think we'll come back up? And your thoughts on CCIV or CMLF for the long term? So Adi, the reason I think, and I could be completely wrong, that SPACs are getting hit bad is, like I mentioned earlier on, when every stock was going up, everybody wanted a piece of every single stock. So I'm pretty sure even most of you guys, right? You probably had a lot of more positions than you normally do. I know I did. When we kind of see this correction, a lot of people kind of pulled out on some of these stocks and kind of really went into put their money more into some of their main stocks. I feel like that's the similar with like what big big money did. And usually SPACs and high growth companies are the first ones to sell out. Those are the ones people like to sell out first to go and buy some of their main players. So I think that's why SPACs are getting hit hard. There's just not much money coming into those investments right now. When do I think they're going to come back? I think just when the overall growth market returns. Um, Hopefully, it's like once. I mean, some of these SPACs were bad, right? Some of these SPACs also have dropped down deep because like they gave us investors presentation that they were gonna expect X amount of revenue in the next year, and then the next year happens and they're like, oh, we actually can't give you that type of guidance. So I think it's also been a mixture of like fundamentals of how they kind of some of them have lied to investors that have kind of reduced that trust with SPACs. For me, any thoughts on CCIV or CMLF? I actually enjoy CCIV. I don't have it in my portfolio, but if there was a SPAC that I wouldn't mind holding, let's say CCIV made it into my portfolio, I don't think I would sell it. I would enjoy having it. Am I the only one that is a little not fan of ARK? I feel like they are being too bullish on Tesla, and so many people copy ARK's investments blindly. So I mean, Ben, I feel like I am a fan of ARK, not because of their investments, right, Ben? I could care less of what ARK does, and just because they bought it doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it. What I really like about ARK is that they really share their information freely to the public. They're one of the first few. There's one of the few funds that actually show you their daily trades. They have like weekly newsletters. They have like weekly reports and stuff like that. And I feel like that's great. I think it kind of helps out retail investors for those type of retail investors that want to learn about it, right? Like you mentioned, I do think the negative side of ARK is some people just like to purchase blindly what ARK Investments is doing. Um, but I feel like anybody, right? Like even me, if you guys watch me, obviously don't follow me blindly, but try to see how I do things and why I do a certain thing, why I invest in a certain company, and maybe you can kind of incorporate that into your investment styles. And that's what I kind of do with ARK, right? I don't blindly follow them, but I try to understand why they do something, and then whatever they do, maybe try to incorporate it into my investment style. Um, So, and I don't know if Kathy is a genius or just got lucky, but regardless, she did something right last year, and it's something that one can learn from. I like that they show their daily trades, but I think that can be a double because agree, Ben, very true. Um, Ben, you think most SPACs companies worth investing have already merged? I mean, there's some any big SPACs. Did SoFi merge already? I know some people are expecting SoFi. SoFi SoFi hasn't merged. I feel like that one's not bad. CCIV doesn't look too bad either. But yeah, I do believe that the double O shore can be a way like we saw, right? I think coin right? Coin was down a nice amount yesterday from its all-time highs, right? Overall it still went up from its reference price. But I feel like after people saw that ARK bought coin, a lot of people started getting excited about coin at these levels. Um, so I could see the double-edged sword behind it. So right now, since we, Shank, I'm interested in, and sometimes, guys, my bad. There's a nice amount of chat, which I'm really grateful for. But if you guys, if I miss a stock, you guys want me to look at, feel free to post it on the comments again. Don't mind repeating yourself. Sometimes I just do. You guys know the majority of specs are worth $10. So if you're buying at a discount, I don't understand the hype. Just guarantees some hedge fund insurance policies on loss. Um, What is your top three SPACs and why? That's a pretty interesting question. So when you ask about that, do you only want do you only think about three SPACs pre-merger or post-merger? You own Microsoft, but doesn't Shens, Ali, I do own Microsoft, right? I don't know if you actually, if you Unity owns Microsoft, but I do own Microsoft, right? But it doesn't grow much. That's fine. I don't, even though many people might consider me a growth investor, Shanaz, I don't consider I am. I invest in just companies I believe will do great in the future. Microsoft might have been a slow growth company, but I still easily have it in my portfolio. And I don't think it's one I'm ever gonna sell, or I mean, have no intention of selling anytime soon. I think it's like just because most of the stocks I probably look at are growth stocks doesn't mean that's all I invest in. Pre-merger, Adit. So pre-merger, I think right now I really like SoFi. SoFi hasn't gone public, right? Hasn't merged, right? SoFi looks nice. So that one would probably be one of them. The other one that would probably be FRX, Beachbody. Beachbody is actually, I like Beachbody a lot. That's a SPAC that if I wouldn't mind expanding my portfolio a little bit more. I think Beachbody, which is FRX. And then maybe three might be AC, which is, it should be Play Studios. Play Studios, I could be wrong with the ticker. But Play Studios, it's kind of, it's a nice kind of, I've done a few videos on them, but it's a nice video game play, in my opinion. Gary Bear jumping in for a minute. Bear can jump in. I mean, I'm not ultra bull, right here. I don't know. I just understand that volatility comes into it. All right, Shanaz, let's take a look. I like Protera. Protera actually looks good too. That's eight. Is that ATCT? Ben, Protera doesn't look bad either. It's one of the few ones I actually wouldn't enjoy either. But there's not many SPACs that really like call out my name. Please look into now. All right, Shanaz, let's take a quick look at just let's do yearly here. Let's take a look at now here. And let's take a look at it here. I don't know who Mr. Bear is, Gary. ServiceNow. Oh, Mr. Bear. Yes. Okay. Never mind, Carrie. Mr. Bear from Discord. All right. Yeah. Never mind. My bad. I was a little bit confused there. Pershing Square is Steven. What does that one do? A D. Yeah. Protera. Is a DACTC. What's going on? Thanks for passing by. Appreciate it. All right, so let's take a look at ServiceNow. So ServiceNow provides enterprise cloud computing solutions that define structures, right, for enterprise, and appreciate the support, Carrie. Means a lot. So first, if we take a look at future growth for now, 18.2%, right? I forget who was just looking at that. I like to Shanaz, right? So a nice growth stock for sure. They're expected to grow their earnings. They are profitable in earnings, so it's also pretty cool that they are positive there, and they're also positive in cash flow from operations. So fundamentally, Shanaz, right? I don't know too much about the of what they do, but and this is what I normally do. First, I try to take a look at the fundamentals of the company, see where they're at. Then after I know the fundamentals, see what stage of a business they're at, I go and look at their product and see a little bit more, try to understand more about the company. So right, fundamentally, they seem good. Strong high growth, great news, profitable and positive in cash flow from operations. Now, if we take a look at their financial health, right, they have about $3 billion in cash and about $1.6 billion in debt. This is actually pretty good, right? So they were profitable, they were positive in cash flow from operations, and they still have plenty of cash compared to debt. Usually when you have a company already profitable, already positive in cash flow from operations, they tend to be a bit leveraged, which I still think it's okay. This one is not leveraged at all. The ratio is almost 2-to-1 cash. And what's the market cap of this company right now? Market cap is $108 billion. All right, so it's a pretty big player already. So now let me just take a quick look at ownership. Most of the company is owned by institutions right now. Neither bad or bad thing. I just want to see if there were any individual insiders. Now I wanted to take a quick look at just the charts. I mean, right, it's definitely seen a nice pullback. Obviously, this would have been a great time to buy. Um, but overall, there's nothing really here scaring me from the charts. Just a bit overextended, right? One thing I tend to see is how overextended it is from its moving averages, especially the shorter terms. If it's a bit overextended, I kind of limit how much I buy. I tend to buy bigger positions when they're closer to these moving averages, and bigger positions when they're closer to this position. So when they're overextended, if I dollar cost average, my position sizes are a bit smaller. Steven, all right, Pershing Square is a SPAC I owned. It's a Bill Ackman SPAC. What do they do? Great premium and covered calls. Still looking for a target. Oh, so it's still okay. So Steven, I didn't know you can do that. I didn't know you can sell calls on SPACs. I mean, I wouldn't understand why you couldn't. But I didn't know that was an option. So they still don't have a. They're still looking for a target. You say, right? Only some. Okay, Steven. Yeah. I wonder what determines if you can sell calls on it. But yeah, I mean, if you buy it at the dollar, if you buy at the floor cost, and then you kind of just do some form of premium uncovering, just right, because a lot of people are already volatile, expecting this to have some kind of news. So I'm guessing you might get a nice premium on it. That's actually pretty cool. Carry leaps on it too. PSTH. You have leaps on this one? Carry PSTH. What is this one? Oh, this is the one you guys were both talking about. Just want to take a quick look. But people are pretty excited, right? It's so if the floor is $20, I mean, it jumped up all the way to 32. Was there any news on that who they were potentially gonna merge with? And unfortunately, this is what we see with a lot of SPACs, right? SPACs definitely, when they overextend, not my favorite time to buy. Right, we saw it with CCIV, right? That thing went all the way up to like $60, and nope, no news. Okay, Carrie believes it's Stripe. Did they say it was gonna be Stripe? Is in the That's a fintech. Stripe is a rumor, right? What's the rumor? That's crazy. It's crazy how stocks move on rumors like that. I just cannot believe it. It's been a very crazy market, right? They are looking for a unicorn. Okay, so they're being very picky, huh? Huh, Steven? Maybe that's why investors might be very excited about it. Since it seems like they might be very, very picky on what they're buying. Any other fundamentals you guys want to take a look at? What hit the market big today, right? Let's just normally stock tweets. Stock tweets. I just like to take a look at it for just what's trending, right? I mean, we saw most of it is usually coins now. I wish, not gonna lie, I wish they had two different sections, one for coins and one for just stocks. Are you streaming on Twitch, Victor? I think I might just be making a full switch onto YouTube. I still haven't decided, but I'm not gonna be streaming on Twitch today, Victor. I think I might. I'm trying to. I think I'm gonna keep my same time here on YouTube, where I'm gonna do evenings, and then I'm also gonna stream a little bit during market hours. Ben, they're pretty funny here in stock twits. Freaking people fight over nothing. Like I mentioned, I like to see what's happening. Right, Space. That's how I saw Space was down 13%. I mean, it's insider selling. Is it possible to stream both at the same time? How's that work, Ben? It right now, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I kind of have a small contract with Twitch, which means I can't kind of simultaneously, simultaneously stream at the same time. I can stream at different times, but not at the same time. Maybe I might cancel that contract, so I might just do them both at the same time, Ben. And that's something I have to take a look at it. All right, Steven, take care, man. Have a good one. What happens with EV? When will EV go back up? Lucy, yeah, EV has been taking a huge hit lately, right? I mean, I think everybody was just super excited, Lucy, of whole Biden administration. And then we saw growth stocks pull back. So a lot of people just kind of exited. Obviously, I can't tell when they're gonna go up. But the overall market of EV stocks, right, Lucy? I think we're still in early stages. EV is definitely the future. The real question is which are going to be the stocks that are going to be the future, right? We've seen so many EV plays. I personally don't think all of them are gonna be the winners. That's why if I do enter EV plays, it's gonna be either with companies that are already producing something right now or that are super close to producing something in the next few, right? So even though I'm not a CCIV shareholder and I don't think I'm gonna buy it anytime soon, if there was an EV play, I think CCIV would be one I wouldn't mind getting into because they're about to start producing their vehicles in the future, right? In the next few months. They already have driving tests and everything like it, opposed to some of these other vehicles that are not even anywhere near there. So yeah, Lucy, it's I obviously I can't tell that, but um, so then we look at Victor. No wonder you didn't get. Yeah, my bad, Victor. I kind of didn't mention it on my last live stream on Twitch. But I might go back there from time to time, just see how the overall people enjoy it. How do I do profit takings in short term? I don't. I really don't. Maybe that's something I should start to learn a little bit more. Um, at the moment, I kind of just hold long term. The only time I ever sell out a position is if I want to put my money into some other stock. Um, so maybe if I see a stock run up a nice amount and be like, okay, I don't think it's gonna give me the same type of returns I believe in the future, I might go into another one. But at the moment, I I don't really have a set short term profit taking, right? Because for me, all these investments are long terms and are in companies I believe are going to do amazing in the next 4 or 5 years, right? Like C, right? C Limited. I got in at $75, right? Probably even cheaper than that. If I would have sold at 150, I would have been screwed because it's look, it's already at 250. So I don't like it, especially short term here because of taxes. I agree. Normally, I actually take short term. I take losses instead. I do sell out a nice amount of positions of my losses to just kind of help with that. But sometimes you just have to do it, right, Ben? Like I recently, when all these stocks dropped, I sold a lot of some of my stocks, right? I sold a nice amount of my smaller positions and they were up a nice amount. But I'd rather go into other companies with them. And the thing, I think it's different for every investor, right? Every investor should have their own profit taking material, and how they do it. I know, for example, I know someone who like after they doubled their position, after their position has gone up 100%, they take a small position out. Maybe that's something I should start incorporating in the future. At the moment, I don't want to though. Gary, Arrival. Is RVL Shanaz between Netflix and Disney? Which am I more bullish on? I don't have this. I don't have Netflix in my portfolio. I only have Disney. So maybe Disney. Netflix though has done a huge turnaround. A huge turnaround. I think I hate to say it, right, but for the business aspect, COVID was like a dream come true. I want to say for Netflix, right? because now they are. I do expect them to be positive in positive from cash flow from operations. It took them a nice amount of time for them to do that. I do believe now with that they're going to be able to even produce even more content. So I do think Netflix has a good place even from here. But I kind of enjoy Disney a little bit more. Agree. True, right, Ben? I feel like more bullishness on Netflix. The thing is, I do think Netflix could innovate, right? Maybe something we can't think of right now, Ben, right? But I think if Netflix innovates on something and it works out pretty well, I think Disney, because now with Disney Plus is doing amazing, they would be able to really much copy it, and make it work for them. Uh, so I just think, unfortunately, that's the type of world we're in right now, where companies kind of copy what works, right? We've seen it with like Clubhouse, where like now Twitter does Spaces. I think other platforms are also kind of doing similar stuff like Clubhouse. If Netflix comes out with something revolutionary, I think Disney would be like, we got a few bucks, we can probably make that work for us as well. And that's kind of outside of the content, right? Netflix, what I do think Netflix really has is a huge amount of content and a lot of originals that a lot of people are willing to pay and stay there for. But more technology innovations, I think that's a whole different story. Thoughts, ZD, what's going on? Thoughts on MSTR? Is that Monster? No, MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, not one. I know ZD, they've been buying a lot of Bitcoin, right? And that's where I feel like a lot of their assets are going. So right now, MicroStrategy, I think it's just gonna be a stock that's gonna be moving a lot with crypto. So maybe some people might not want to buy crypto or just can't buy crypto. They might buy MicroStrategy because I feel like now the price kind of correlates with it just based on the assets they have. I don't think it's even worth looking at the fundamentals of MicroStrategy for that, because of that purpose, right? I think it's just too correlated with the crypto market now. Again, the crypto market, I'm not bearish on, not bullish on it either. So it's not one I follow too much. Maybe it's one I should start following a little bit more. I want to learn a little bit more about the overall crypto world, right? Maybe I should start following some other YouTube people. So maybe they can teach me something about it. Anybody? So, Ben, DE, you talk. Which one's DE? Is that Deer? I just saw there that. What do you think about DE? With the overall infrastructure plan. Where was it? I honestly haven't really looked too much in the infrastructure bill. Maybe I should take a quick look at it. One thing I do want to see is more money into semiconductors. I do believe here in the United States we need a little more love for the semiconductor industry, and especially for defense companies. Right, we see a lot of a lot of government contractors like General Dynamic, Lockheed Martin, all these big players. Like they're not able to sometimes purchase some products because they're out of states. I do think there's a nice amount of market here. Shanaz, Facebook is undervalued. Would you make it a tier one stock? To me, I think last year it was actually a tier one stock for me, Shanaz. Last year I had 9 tier one stocks. This year I removed a lot of them. I only have 4 tier one stocks. Facebook, I believe, is one that I don't mind holding. It's a tier. I would consider it a tier 2 plus. It's not a tier one stock yet. It's not a tier one stock, but it's just right below it. Facebook is one I wouldn't mind holding in my portfolio at all for the long term of things. I think they're being very, very bullish on 2 major parts. First, their overall business, their main business, right? Their social platform, the advertisement. They're always trying to work there. Them kind of getting the overall kind of Microsoft Gaming. I forget what it was called. I forgot what Microsoft streaming platform was, but they kind of moved it into YouTube Gaming. A great move. Is bringing more people there, more advertisement, more eyes for advertisement purposes. The second thing is, even though they're kind of hitting other stuff, they have like a digital wallet. But to me, the overall way that they're going with virtual reality, they're really focusing on that. And I do think that's a market that is going to grow in the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to start really seeing it expand. It's been here. It's been here in consumers for a long time already, right? I think since like 2017, 2018 with Oculus. But I do think the next 2 to 3 years is one where that's actually going to grow a lot. So Facebook is definitely a hold in my portfolio. Nice. And they're doing great, right? I mean, they're really working well with their e-commerce, making sure that small businesses, um, like the overall how they do ads there and stuff like that. I think Facebook is definitely doing pretty good. I do think Facebook will always be a bit undervalued just because people are always going to be worried about some form of privacy fee that they're going to pay on governments and stuff like that. And it's weird. I feel like Facebook gets a little more hit about it, but I don't feel like the same kind of talks get talked about in Google, even though they're kind of in similar space. Question as, yeah, I definitely enjoy Facebook. I think from the big boys, right? From Fang, I don't have. I have Facebook. I don't have Apple. I don't have Amazon. I don't have Netflix. I have Google, but I also have Microsoft. Those are those are. I know people don't put Microsoft in that. Um, so she asked, what do I think about Intel? Intel. I mean, if I may be honest, I enjoy AMD and Nvidia a lot more than I do Intel. That does not mean I completely hate Intel. Intel is one of those that right now it's gonna be hard for them to kind of make a turnaround story. But if the new CEO definitely shifts things around, it can definitely be a monster. I don't see Intel going down anytime soon. Um, definitely, I don't see them going anytime soon. But it's definitely gonna be crazy for investors. They're the CEOs has some cool plans, but for those plans, it's gonna take years to really make a difference for the company. Um, so in the next few years, I do think Intel will be very, very volatile. It might even hit lower lows. But overall, that turnaround story can be a great story for Intel. At the moment, I enjoy Nvidia and AMD a lot better. The best way to kind of see my tier one, tier two, tier three stocks is I kind of do monthly reports on my YouTube, monthly portfolios, and you could see just on position wise which ones are tier ones, tier two, or tier three. Um, and I definitely talk about my tier one stocks. I don't think I really talk about which ones are tier two and tier three. So tier one are Unity, Sorens, Nvidia, and C Limited. Then tier two, some big tier twos in my name are probably like Facebook, Spotify, um, Microsoft, Disney. I forget some other big players. But like tier one stocks are four stocks and they make up over 33, 34% of my portfolio. So those four stocks make up more than 1/3 of my portfolio. Then I have a lot of tier two stocks and I have even more tier three stocks. But most of my portfolio is being driven by those four stocks. And that's how I want to keep it. Because sometimes people look at my portfolio and they see my position holdings and they're like, man, this guy has a lot of positions. Because there's sometimes I have like over 40 positions. But what people don't understand is out of those 40 positions, four of them make up over 1/3 of my portfolio. Then maybe my top 10 make up like 50% of my portfolio. So I do enjoy having a lot of companies, but at the same time, so I'm kind of I enjoy having a lot of companies being a bit diversified, but at the same time, I also like to have conviction in certain stocks. So it's a mixture of both worlds, right? Like I said, I try to do a little bit of everything. I feel like you can do great with a position portfolio. You can also do similar with like a 10 position, 15, 20, 30, 40, even a 100 position portfolio. And some people might disagree with that, and I don't think it's bad to disagree. Hmm. So what do you guys, I just, now that I have you guys here, like, what do you guys enjoy about the videos? Is it like learning about new growth stocks? Is it me going, like doing a little bit of the fundamentals of them? Is it just mainly like price targets? Like, what do you guys enjoy most in the videos? And definitely want to learn from you guys so I can provide the best type of value to you. What are some things you don't like? Right. So, do you have any ETFs? No, I don't. I don't. If I Let me say this, Adi. If I didn't have the time, right? To me, researching stocks is definitely a passion of mine. I would have to definitely say a passion of mine. If I didn't do it, if I didn't enjoy reading 10Q reports, if I didn't enjoy looking at CEOs' interviews, reading about the company, looking at presentations, if I didn't enjoy doing that, Adi, I think my portfolio would be better off as an ETF. Um, because I enjoy doing that, that's why I kind of enjoy going single companies. But if I didn't have the time, I'm 100% sure my portfolio would probably be mainly ETFs, maybe some stocks here and there. But yeah, agree, right, Ben? And that's what some people might not think stocks are fun. They might not think researching about businesses is fun. And for that, ETFs do better. Best is Shanaz. So that's what I've normally. I feel like that's what I've been pumping out recently. Shanaz, have those been cool for you? Like they're usually 10 to 15, and I kind of take a look at like 3 stocks. Or you mean 10 to 15 for one stock? Do you like my? Yes. All right, Shanaz. Yeah. You like fundamentals and price targets. That's okay. Thank you. And that kind of I kind of always incorporate that, right? I really like to look at fundamentals. Even I like to look at analysts, but I like I said, even like I mentioned with ARK. Oh, one stock, Shanaz, really? Um, I gotta start hitting those again then. Maybe for you, right? Maybe from time to time. Unfortunately, right? They don't do too well. Like a single stock doesn't do too well in YouTube views. So it kind of tells me, hey, not too many people are kind of interested in it. But when I do find like a nice stock, I definitely want to do that. At the moment, I don't think I found any new real stock that should really have a one that type of time frame. Right? I think recently, my most recent one was when I did SoFi and PaySafe. Right? Those two I kind of did. I kind of took my time with them. Oh, Shanaz, 3 stocks are fine. Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy. It's been a crazy market lately. Um, there's plenty of content to be made. Um, if there's a video, all right. So I mean, obviously live streams are are super quick. But for tomorrow I'm gonna take a look at 3 stocks. What do you guys want? Any stocks you guys want me to take a look at? Let me write them down. Um, Maybe I can do an episode on them. Maybe even if you mentioned them today, right now, I obviously couldn't do a full review on them. But let's see what you guys, what are some stocks you guys want to look at? Me tomorrow, maybe this weekend. So feel free to share that I can do a video. All right. OMF Hudson. What does OMF do? If I may ask. I want to put like a quick Adobe. Oh yes, Adobe. That one is definitely. I feel like Adobe's being slept on for sure. C3 AI, that one too, another AI. I feel like people keep asking about that one. That's one I definitely want to take my dividend paying stocks or ETF. Edward, you want to take a look at some some dividend plays? I sometimes I don't know if you guys have been watching. Adobe is the SaaS, Ed, for sure. Hey Ed, thanks for passing by. Um, Ed, I don't even know why I put your name here, Ed. Dividends, stocks, or ETFs. I know recently I kind of did a video where I did 3 stocks. I did like like I wouldn't consider a value stock that paid a dividend. I did a growth stock, and then I also did a speculative play. Maybe I should do that. Like maybe put like a dividend stock, a growth stock, and maybe a speculative play as well. Um, this message is held for BY. Not sure why this one. The I like videos under 10 minutes, and I don't know indeed why yours was being covered. VGYY. That's very good food, right? Is that different from food company? I forget. BVGBF. All right. Thoughts on Gravity? See, Gravity is one I don't. I tier 2 stock for me for sure. Tan. Definitely taking the beating recently, but it's one that once I have more money right now, obviously some life stuff happened, so I haven't really bought too much in the stocks right now. So obviously one has to be smart with their financials, and right now I just like I mentioned live stuff. So I haven't put too much in the market recently, but Gravity is one I wouldn't mind adding more into. C Wang Tang. Gravity would be another one though. I could definitely take a look at. Um, you know what's one many people don't talk about, but it's being slept on. Autodesk, I think. Autodesk is one I really enjoy. I sold it just to open make my position on Unity bigger, but I do think Autodesk is being slept on, like Adobe. Ben Perez, what do you think of V long term? Seems to be future proof. The great thing is, Ben, first thing I want to say, I don't think any, I mean, right, there's certain stocks that might seem future proof, but at the end of the day, I don't think they are, right? I don't think any company can be future proof, right? Like we've seen it with Intel. Maybe 10 years ago, a lot of people might have been like, hey, Intel is future proof. If you ask them nowadays, it might not be. But Verizon, I know a lot of people enjoy it, right? They pay a nice dividend. It's definitely growing at great levels, right? I just want to take a look at quick. Oh wait, no, that's Visa, right? Oops, I was thinking about Visa. Yeah, no, Visa's doing pretty good. If you want to be in just the overall like kind of financial world, I think Visa is definitely a cool play for sure. I mean, future growth, 13.7% on such a high growth company already. That to me is great numbers. Earnings continue to grow, positive in cash flow from operations, right? Financially, this is definitely a great company. One that I don't know if I have it anymore. Um, but definitely pretty cool. This one now, even though I said I don't think there's a future proof, I do agree. Visa could definitely be a long play for sure. So what we have IRCP. What else? Did I forget anything here? Synthetic biology stock as so. You know, Gerhard, Gerhard. Hopefully, Gerhard is the wrong. It's kind of like my brother's name, similar, but I might be butchering it, and I'm sorry. Bio, for me, I am a electrical engineer, right, by education, so I really enjoy the tech world. I have no idea about chemistry. I have no idea about biology. I know it's important, but me personally, I just don't know much about it. So the biomed market is one I don't really hit. I know someone asked before if I was ever in ETFs. The biomed or biology market is one that if I wanted to get exposure into, it would be through ETFs, just because I don't know much about it. Hudson, you want me to take a look at CleanSpark? All right. So obviously I can't take a look at all of them. I'll probably pick from here. I think for sure Adobe would be one of them though. Shanas, you're asking is Sorens IIPR? Man, Ed, be here demanding stuff, Ed. I see. All right, this one's by Ed. I gotta remember that. So Shanaz, is Sorens a buy at this level? So you know one thing I do enjoy. Sorens is a tier 1 stock for me. Wow, it's actually up to $100. I really enjoy it at 90s. I think right now, if I wanted to get exposure, still a great time. What I do want to say about Sorens though, they are affected a lot by vehicle production, right? So vehicle production really affects Sorens. Their CEO mentioned it previously. So I do think with the chip shortage right now, this earnings might be a bit weak on them. Even though I do believe that, I'm obviously not going to sell. But I already have a nice, and this is just me where I'm at, right, Shanaz? I already have a nice position in Sorens. So I with my nice position, I'd rather wait for their earnings to come out. If my thesis is right that they might kind of be bad on earnings, it might tank a lot. It might tank, and I might increase my position there. If I didn't have a position in Sorens right now, I wouldn't mind opening a small position to get skin in the game. So it always depends on where I'm at position wise. Like I mentioned, right now I have a nice position in Sorens. I'm not buying right now. I'm waiting for that earnings because of the chip shortage. If I didn't, that's how I would definitely buy right now to have a small position at least. Um, Pavan, thoughts on XL Fleet? XL Fleet is one of those backs that has definitely taken a big hit. One thing I don't like about XL Fleet, and I kind of did a video on them, Pavan. I don't know if you checked it out. It was the dangers of SPACs, and I hit XL Fleet and I hit Romeo. Two things one thing I don't like about XL Fleet is they gave some kind of guidance during their presentation when they were a SPAC. Now that they're no longer a SPAC and a few quarters happen, they're like, hey, we can't really meet those numbers. I do think a few portion of it has to be with the overall shortage in the market, but at the same time, investors don't like it. So to me, I'm not a fan of XL Fleet for sure. Thoughts on Shishu UCTT? All right, so now you guys gave me a good list. I definitely now have more content for tomorrow. I can make at least 2 more videos for you guys. And a question, guys: do you guys would you guys also watch if I stream during market hours? But I'm pretty sure if you guys are watching now, it's probably be a different group in the morning. Thoughts on Helion? Jimmy, what's going on, Jimmy? I think someone asked that earlier today. Not sure what happened. Was it similar to XL Fleet that they kind of reduced their guidance compared to what their original projections were. Again, these are they making money right now? Let's take a look at their fundamentals. Let me just look at that. Shanaz. All right. So Shanaz, I do think what I'm gonna do is maybe do like an hour, maybe like an hour when the market opens, maybe an hour when the market closes, and then do a bigger time frame right now at night, so I get a little bit of everything. Short sellers took a hit. Oh, Ben. Oh, all right. So right now, let me take a look. Hilion's investors presentation, investors relations. I just want to see if they have earnings. Like I said, I haven't really followed this company. I want to take a look at their reports. Revenue. Where's their revenue? Yo, really? Where is your revenue? Is it just non-existent? Yo, how do they not show revenues? Do they really have no revenue? Do you agree to continue for additional? I mean, at $9, I bought some Hill. All right, so Hudson. I mean, Hudson, are you looking at this more of a trade, or are you looking at more as an investments? I mean, I don't even see them having revenue. Like, how do you not have showing me anything like that? So is this more like the company that's just starting off right now? Okay, yeah, I can see it's definitely just starting off, right? I mean, in the fourth quarter and including installations of 7 hybrid electrical units in the fourth quarter and 20 hybrid electrical units for the full year of 2020, right? If I can count the amount of vehicles they have with my hands and my toes, this is still very early in the stages, right? So to me, this is a very speculative play. This is one that speculative plays, in my opinion, are ones that it's very hard to value. It's more if you're really interested, like to me, it's not something I would enjoy. Like I said, if I can count how many companies they have in my hands and toes, it's definitely a different story. Doesn't mean it's a bad investment. It's just a market that's going to be very, very volatile, and any little news is going to make the stock go up or down. Um, so this was not for the weak of heart. And if it ever was in my portfolio, it would definitely be a small position. If you live stream on YouTube, I can turn my screen off and listen while I'm at work. Oh, nice, yeah. YouTube, whatever it's called when you pay for it. I think I might do that then. Investment 2 years fall away. All right, Hudson. Yeah, that's true, right? So again, when I feel like sometimes the word speculative some people might think of it as a negative term. I don't think it's a negative term, right? It just to me means a company that right now doesn't have any form of revenues. They have a product that can definitely turn the market around, but it has to go through many leaps before it does that. So for that, it would have to be a very limited position in my portfolio. They retrofit old vehicles and make them hybrid. Pretty cool. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna cut it here at 10 o'clock. But what I'm normally gonna do is I'm obviously gonna set a schedule. I'm gonna look for Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 8:30, which is when I kind of started today, and I'll probably go until 10 o'clock. And here, what I want to do is take a look at some stocks, maybe do like a quick analysis on them, and then from there, I'm gonna let me add that Ben on here. Let's take a quick look. But what we can do is just take a quick look at them. If there's any news that are happening, so this is our REIT. Yeah, so REITs, Ben, it's not ones I understand too much. Obviously, I know the monthly revenue from them. Um, but I think fundamentally, you have to really understand REITs to really look at their movements, right? So REITs are not ones I follow. Maybe I do want to pick up a few books, Ben, on increasing my knowledge on them. Hudson, my thoughts on Coinbase. Coinbase, let's say if it was a stock in my portfolio, Hudson, it would be a tier 3 for sure. I don't think it would make it a tier 2. It definitely wouldn't make it a tier 1. If it was a tier 2, it would probably be a low level. So the great thing about Coinbase, right? And I said I was going to leave. To me, the great thing about Coinbase is you don't have to be like a big bullish on crypto, right? Coinbase is a business that makes money from fees from those that like to trade crypto. If I believe that crypto is still going to be popular, doesn't mean I'm bullish in crypto, but if I think it's going to be popular, Coinbase could be a good play. It can also be a good play for those that kind of want to be in the crypto market in one way or another, but don't just want to buy a coin independent. So Coinbase, I think it has a lot of reasons why certain investors might like it. I do think one of the major risks, though, is if the crypto market, like someone mentioned it, I forget who it was, maybe Ben, I think it was. If other trading platforms come out and start reducing fees, it can definitely hit Coinbase. The other thing is if crypto starts to fall, when crypto starts to fall, no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to trade it. When that happens, fees are going to go down as well. Like no one's going to be trading it, so they're not going to be making money. So I do think it's very hard to determine the future growth of it because we don't know how the overall market is going to deal with it. Ben, I really enjoyed the stream today, buddy. Good chat and looking forward to seeing more. Ben, quick question. Were you joined in? Were you on my Twitch streams or was this the first stream you've ever caught? Shanaz, that one's insane. Yes. Just a tier 1 stock, Shanaz, doesn't mean it has to be profitable. To me, a tier 1 stock is one that I believe the market is going to be huge. Is one that I really understand. Unity, there was a time when I kind of wanted to be a game developer, I would say, and I've used a lot of Unity. I've used Unity. I can see the future growth, right? It's not just in gaming. Even though they're not profitable right now, the increase of augmented reality, the increase of virtual reality, even outside of gaming, right? In the enterprise world, in businesses, in construction, in architecture, in engineering, in defense, that platform is gonna, I feel like it's gonna be needed. So even though it's not profitable, it is one that I believe will do great, right? And I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong with it, right? I mean, C Limited, I don't think it's profitable in GAAP earnings, is it? I know they're positive in cash flow from operations. Um, so tier ones doesn't mean you have to be profitable. It's just to me a position. Yeah, C is not profitable either, right? And it's a tier one. All right, Ben. Yeah, so I think it might be a smart move for me moving into here to YouTube. Um, Jimmy, Gene, do you think Celsius is a good long-term investment? You know, Jimmy, this one might be a bit weird. I got luckily because of the Discord group. I got into Celsius at a very cheap rate. Celsius is growing at crazy levels. I don't think I ever want to sell my Celsius. Celsius is one of those positions that I believe if they continue to go up, what I'm paying now, what I paid for it, I feel like in the future I would be able to get it in some form of dividends. Very similar to like how Monster, right? Monster was a mega winner. Um, so Celsius is one that for me I don't expect to sell anytime soon. So I do think it's a long term hold. Would I buy right now? That is when I don't know what if I would. It may be a small position. Um, But right now, if I'm looking to add into my portfolio, I don't think it's Celsius is one I'm gonna add to right now. And those are just my thoughts, right? All right, guys, but that's it for now. I don't think I'm pretty sure most of us have stuff to do during Friday night, so I don't think I'm gonna stream Friday night or Saturday night. Maybe Sunday night. Maybe Sunday night before market opens, I might do them. Maybe some of you guys might be interested. Hudson, when did you start doing stock talks on YouTube? Hudson, I started doing YouTube channel 3 years ago now. It's been a long time, and I've been horrible at it. You can see. I mean, I feel like there's so many YouTubers out there that have grown dramatically in just a few months. But I enjoy doing it. Right? What's going on, Eddie? So I think I've been doing it for 2.5, maybe 3 years now, talking on YouTube. But stocks I've actually been doing for a long time. I think when I turned about 7 years now, 7, 8 years maybe. Um, so it's um, definitely been a long time and a lot of learning throughout the process, right? Even though I started 3 years ago, my investment style 3 years ago is not the same thing. What do you think about Skills? Skills, Mar, tier three stock in my portfolio. Tier three means small position, but one that I do believe will do great in the future. Ben, agree. That's what weekends are for. we, except Sunday nights. That's when we give hope. When we have hope that the week is gonna be better. Um, but yeah, KJ Skills strong balance sheet, right? I do believe I can see more games coming into that platform. And yeah, I have in my portfolio. Luckily, I got into that one when it was ticker FEAC. That was so my price target is about $12. Um, I definitely, if right now, even though my price target is lower, I would consider buying it. Like I mentioned, right now I haven't had too much money, so much new money into my account. Skills would definitely be on that list to add some more into. But at the same time, I would limit my buy, right? Skills is like a tier three stock. So tier three stock in my portfolio doesn't probably go higher than like 2%. Where like a tier two goes like about 4%, and a tier one can go up to like 10%. Ben, what was your first ever stock? Mine was Disney, but it killed me. The first reason I invested into Disney was because they were but yeah, Ed mentioned a good point. I do believe SPACs will continue to get destroyed. I don't think new money is coming in anytime soon, and if they are, new money is not going to go into SPACs. Um, so I do think SPACs are going to be pretty hectic. And the real question is, are people gonna, as us retail investors, are we gonna hold long enough for that reversal, or are we gonna sell off before that and then miss on the gains? All right, guys, this time for real. I mean, you guys keep keeping me in here, telling me great stories. But take care, guys. Have a good night, and catch you guys next time. Tomorrow, 2 new videos. I already got some some great recommendations on some stocks to do for tomorrow morning. So take care, guys.